Ever since working at a daycare, I feel like I truly see how parents actually be raising their kids, right? Because me personally, I was raised to just listen to the adult in the room, keep quiet, have manners. I was potty trained at like 1 year old. I was smart when I was a kid, right? But the fact that I have been teaching like 3 year olds, 4 year olds, 5 year olds, right? And then you have like 5 year olds who are still having accidents, 4 year olds who aren't potty trained. And then some of them will be singing like, trending songs from the internet. I saw this girl, she was singing like a City Girl song and she was like 3 years old. And I was like, how do you know that song? Because I barely know that song, right? So I was like, how do you know that song? And she was like she made a face. I was like, oh, okay. And then there's other kids who come to our daycare as well, like the after school kids that come from like middle school or whatever, and they're 9 years old talking about they know who Ice Spice is. And some girl was like, oh, like not too much of my man. I'm like, man, what do you mean? And she's like, we're just pretending. I was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, oh, who's your boyfriend? And then the other girl was like, my boyfriend is Tom Holland and I'm Zendaya. And then the other girl, she was like, oh, well, I don't know who my boyfriend is, but I know that my wife is gonna be Ice Spice because she has a huge god. And I was like, what the like these kids know these words. Because when I was 9 years old, I was had my coloring pages. I wasn't thinking about boys, because we didn't grow up with the internet, so we didn't know none of that shit, right? But now that kids are growing up with the internet, I feel like sometimes their vocabulary might develop faster, but it's like their other stuff is more delayed, right? And then you have parents at the daycare who don't give a fuck about their kids for real. They're just dropping them off, taking them home, and when they take them to home, they just give them a bath, put them to sleep, right? These parents aren't spending time with their kids. They're not doing like little flashcards and shit. So these kids are 5 years old, don't know how to spell their name, don't know how to write their name, can't can barely recognize their name, don't even know the letters in the alphabet, can't count to 100. And I'm like, what? Like, it's just insane to me. And I feel like it gives me more ideas on like if I do have kids, like how I will raise them and how I'll do things with them, like making sure I make like flashcards with my kids, make sure I give them like a head start in potty training, because some daycares don't even expect kids, well, actually they won't even take the kid there if you're not potty trained by like 3 years old or whatever. So I'm like, oh, so I don't know. I'm glad that I'm getting some kid experience now before I have my own kids. So now, like, I know, like, what to do and what not to do, how to raise my kids, and, like, stuff like that. Because I'm like, damn, like, these new generations are built different. Like, literally.